Okay guys, I'm going to show you how to export your designs from Design Space to a shareable, usable SVG that you can email to someone else. You can sell on Etsy, you can upload it to a USB flash drive or removable hard drive, etc. So Design Space makes it to where we cannot export our images. So I'm going to show you the steps that you need to do in order to export your created SVGs inside of Design Space. So if we open Design Space and let's click an image that, let me find one here that is not a, okay, let's do this more difficult t-shirt that I made for my husband. Okay, so I've already created this SVG outside of Design Space, but I'm going to recreate it as if it was made only within Design Space, meaning I use the tools in the images that I paid for through Access, etc. So this is going to be more time consuming for you versus being able to create your images outside of Design Space so that you always have them. So I highly suggest watching my other videos on how to create your own SVG using Inkscape so that you do not ever have to do this again. Once you've created them, you'll always have them, and you don't have to worry about something happening with Design Space and losing your SVGs because you have created them outside of Cricut software. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna have to, okay, mine's ungrouped. Okay, so let me zoom out because this is a big image, and let's start with removing, or excuse me, not removing, hiding some of these groups that I have in here so that we can work with certain things and not have our screen just crazy filled. Okay, so let's start with the motorcycle, uncover it, and then we're going to ungroup it. Okay, and then I want to just hide it all again just so that it makes it easy for me. Now if you click right up here in the little blank arrow or area in your grid, if you double click it, you can turn your grid on and off. Now you can, if you cannot get that to work, you can also go in to, excuse me while I look for this, I'm not 100% sure, right there. Okay. So go over here, go to settings, and then you can actually turn off your grid completely. Now this may be a good idea if you're going to go through and take a day to do all your SVGs at one time so that you're not having to do this every time. But if you're just doing one and you like your grid, you can do it the way that I showed by just clicking in the corner up here, double clicking. So we want to start with a white background with no lines. And we're going to just start at the top over on my layers panel, and I'm going to unclick one layer, and I want to change the color to black. And then we're going to use the print screen. This is going to be such a pain in the butt, you guys, and I know that you're going to be like, are you serious? You have to go through all this? But yes, you do, and it's so terrible. But so use the print screen button on your keyboard. Okay, it is on the top row at the end of the F keys. It'll say PRT space SC. Okay, so that is the print key. So you're just going to make sure your mouse is not over your image, put it off to the side, hit your print screen button. Okay, so now what it has done is it has taken a screenshot of your entire monitor, what you're looking at. So now what we want to do is we want to go over here and look for Paint, just your simple basic Paint program. Nothing fancy, it should be installed on your computer already. It's just your basic program. So open Paint, and then you're going to hit paste. Okay, so now you're seeing it was the whole screenshot. Now we're going to press select and just draw a box around the image and hit crop. Okay, file, save as, and we're just going to save this as motorcycle 1. Okay, I'm going to hit undo and minimize it. Now I have this image. I'm going to delete this from my canvas so that I know what I have done or haven't done, and then at the end I just won't save it. It'll just revert back to its original form. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay, next one. Change the color so that it's easily seen. And this one I look like I'm going to have to make it, well, this one may be more of a pain in the butt. Okay, I think that I'm going to need to zoom into this pretty far. And hopefully you have not designed anything with teeny tiny little places in it, but if you have, you'll just have to adjust accordingly. So again, I'm going to print screen, come over here to paint, paste it, select, highlight all of it, cropped, save as, and I'm going to name this as motorcycle 2. Now, undo, so I still have my paint. Because I didn't get all of it in one go, I'm going to have to do it again. Paste, grab the tail light thing, save as, motorcycle 3. It is such a pain in the butt, I know, but if you want to get your images out of Design Space, this is what you have to do. Now, if you have a simple image, this will not be that bad. So here's the next one. Print screen, paste, and cropped, motorcycle 4, and remove. Next one, print screen. We just keep repeating this process until we have all of our images, all of our colored layers. Now, like I said, if you're not doing a bunch of layers like I have with this shirt that I made, it won't be so bad. But because I have so many layers, it's going to take a little bit. So here's another group, and there's 2 colors. So I'm going to ungroup them, remove that part, change the colors. Again, print screen, same thing. Motorcycle 7, lots of layers, I know. Okay. And then I actually have 2 of these. So I will ungroup both and unhide them. I could just duplicate it once I got it over to the other program, but might as well do it the long way so everybody can see. Okay. Alright, we're getting to the end here. Let's do these at one time. Whoops. Motorcycle, alright. Okay, one more. Do these at the same time as well. Print screen, paste, alright. Now, once we have made all these screenshots, Now we've turned them into PNG files, which now we have to go back and create again another SVG. So we need to open Inkscape, and I'm just going to drag this over so I don't have to search for stuff. And I'm going to go motorcycle 1. Computer froze up there for a second. Okay. Now, this is my first layer. I can either zoom in to this, click my paint bucket, make sure it's set on 0, or I actually like to go up plus 0.40. And I know that this was my orange color, so I'm going to select orange. And I can try to get this to fill in. But as you can see, it's not right. So we're going to have to go the old-fashioned way and right-click, trace bitmap, do my brightness scans. I'm going to bring it down to 4, ungroup, and separate and see which one looks the best. So highlight everything, change the color to orange. Well, it's not highlighting everything. Ooh, there we go. Change the color to orange. Okay, we can see that this is the original. So I'm going to compare my bike to this one. And this one that I've picked actually looks pretty dang good. So I'm going to keep this one. So I'm going to remove all these guys. And I'm going to put him way over here to the side. Because I'm going to redo this all back as one SVG. So now I'm going to drag this so that I can see my desktop, and I'm going to drag over the next layer, and again just do my trace bitmap over here, ungroup them, and see which ones look right. And these were yellow, so that none of those looked right, so I'm going to redo it because I'm going to have to go with one like this, and then I'm going to have to fill it in myself with coloring for it to look right. So now I have those two pieces. I'm going to regroup them, and they were also made very large to try to get all that detail. Okay, next, motorcycle 3 is the rest of the tail light. Again, keep repeating the process over and over and over again. Yellow color. Whoops. Bring this over. 4. Trace bitmap. Ungroup them. You see which one looks the best. Let's highlight everything. Change the color. Okay, we can see that this is our original. So we need to look at the detail and see which one is the closest looking one to what we have. I'm gonna say this one's looking pretty good down here. This one on the left here looks like it's pretty close. These I can tell are not. As you can see, on the original, these lines are slightly thicker than what was made here, and over here definitely is bad. So I think I'm going to go with one of these bottom ones. So I'm just going to pick this one because this one seems to be a little lighter in terms of color thickness. So we're going to move that. And this was actually the white. And I always do my white that bright yellow because if we click white, look, it's disappeared. You can't even see it. So I always make my white yellow when I'm working in Inkscape. So my next piece is this one. We're going to do our scans again, ungroup them, move them around, highlight everything here, change the color. Okay, we can see this is our original, and we're going to go through and see which one looks the closest. And I can already tell right now this is going to be the closest one, simply because this should be weeded out, and there it is. This one looks really bad and splotchy. This one also looks bad and splotchy. And then this one over here has absolutely no weeding at all there. So this is going to be the closest one. And I know that that was my black color of my bike. So the next one, again, trace bitmap. Okay, now I have no idea which one is the original, so we're going to highlight all of them and change the color. Okay, there we go. See, this is our original. So pretty much any of these would work. So I'm just going to pick him, and it was a gray color. Okay, now we're moving into words. Okay, same thing. Ungroup, move them aside, highlight them all, change the color. Okay, we can see this is the original. Look and see which one looks the best. This one looks real thin, so that one's no good. This one looks kind of thin also. The T is messed up on this one, so I'm going to go with this one. And the wording was white, I remember from the shirt, so I'm going to make it yellow. And then same with these. Trace bitmap, scroll in, ungroup, move all the colors. Okay, I can tell right now this is my original, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And these are so simple, you can just see right off the bat. And those were orange, so there we go. Now, if you remember correctly, these were separated, and now they're grouped. So what I need to do is duplicate. So just right click and duplicate, and then I can double click and remove one and remove one. So now they're separate. Okay, whoops, wrong thing. Okay, next. Zoom in, ungroup, move these around. Okay, color, okay, that's the original. Alright, this one's too thin. This one, the T is messed up. This one, the L is messed up right there. So I'm going to get rid of it and keep this. So this was supposed to be white, so I'm going to change it to yellow so we can see it. And two more, guys, and we'll be done converting the one image. But like I said, if you're not doing tons of layering, it's not so bad. Typically people don't like to layer as much as I do, so it won't be so many converting. Okay, so with this one we're gonna have to look and see which one looks right. This one to me looks pretty good. So a lot of times if they're real easy, actually I think that was orange. If they're real easy to, if you know, Inkscape can see the lines really easily, your scanned copies will all look pretty good. So you don't have to necessarily sit there and really search for how they may look. Okay, there's all my layers. So if I was going to try to re-put this thing back together, I know that because I made the shirt already, so I know how I made it. So this is going to go kind of quick, but so gray was on the bottom, so I'm going to use object lower to bottom, and then my black went on top of it. Now, if you pay attention, sometimes you can't get this thing to line up just so because Inkscape can be a pain in the butt. You can always use your arrow key to try to get it lined up. Okay, and then I know that my white was next, so I need to, as you can see, it's too low. So I'm going to go to Object and Raise. Now it's on top. Move it in place. Okay. Change it back to white. Make sure it looks all like it's supposed to. Okay. I'm going to put it back yellow just so we can see it for now. Okay. Headlight. Again, it's too low. You can see it's going behind the motorcycle. So I'm going to Object, Raise to Top. And because I had to zoom in so far on this to get it, I'm going to have to resize this thing. So let me get it back where it's supposed to be in size, as close as I can. Okay, there we go. And then the little tail light also had to resize it as well. And actually, I'm not even sure where that goes yet. I have to put the orange on. So the orange is at the very bottom, so I'm going to have to raise to top. And apparently resize. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then raise this one to top. And that went right there because it went right in that little crevice of the orange. Okay, now there's my motorcycle. Now I can go back in here and now change my white so it looks right, highlight it all, group, put those back together. Now we have these guys to worry with, and it was something to this effect. I don't remember exactly how I had it. I actually changed it when I put it on the shirt. I didn't put these words on the side, but and then we have these two. Again, we need to separate them, so duplicate. The two wheels go on the bottom, so I'm going to double click and erase the two wheels, and then obviously the four wheels come off of the bottom one, so going to erase those. And then with this one, duplicate and erase the top. These things like to snap to nodes. Okay, and then erase the bottom. And there we go. Now we have our whole SVG. I'm going to group it, size it down, put it inside that box, save it as, we're going to save as motorcycle. Close out of all this. Now I can delete all these screenshots, so highlight all of them, delete them. Go over to my design space, upload, motorcycle, and there she is right there, all ready for me. So yes, it was quite a few steps in taking your SVGs from design space and getting them exported out using a program. So it's time consuming, but it can be done. And next video I'm going to show you guys if you need to save your files in all the different types of format settings, how to go about doing so. So if you need to know that, check my channel and watch some videos. Thanks guys.